my blissful self. Today, let us know in brief about great silence. So, what is this great silence? Great silence means we have to make our mind silent. And if we have to make our mind silent, we have to transcend our gross body consciousness. So, to transcend the gross body consciousness, so we have to know that we are not the gross body, but only the consciousness. When we remain as consciousness, there is bliss. So, to make the mind silent, we have to give up gross body consciousness and remain as consciousness only. When we are living, we talk. But when we die, we don't talk. Why? So when we die, the talker leaves the gross body. So to talk, we have to have the understanding. That means we are consciousness, the Atman or the Deva. So, whatever I know or whatever we know, we are not that. So, I know the gross body. So, I am not the gross body. I know the sensory organs of knowledge. That means I am not the organs of knowledge. I know the organs of action. That means I am not the organs of action. Then in the same way, I know the 5 pranas. That means I am not all these. In the same way, I know the mind. So we usually say, my mind is not calm. Now, my mind is calm. So we know the mind. That is why we are not the mind. Then we know the intellect, the buddhi. Whether we say whether my intellect is good or not good. That means I am not the intellect. Then I know the chitta. Chitta means the remembering entity. We say, I remember. I don't remember. That is why I am not the chitta. In the same way, I know the egotism, ahankara. I know whether I do this or I don't do this. That means I know the egotism. So, I am not the egotism. So, I know all these. That is how I am not all these. Then I don't know whether I am the gross body or the consciousness. That means this is called ignorance. Because I know the ignorance. And not only this, I know the knowledge. I know all things. That means I am not the knowledge. I know my true nature. That means I am not knowledge. I am witness to all these, so I am not all these. So I am not all these. So whatever I know, I am not that. In the same way, I know the childhood, the youthhood, the old age. Later, we give up our body, gross body, and we take the new body. So I know all these, so I am not all these. Then I know the three states, namely waking, dream, and deep sleep. These three states are not present one in other states. For example, the waking is not present in a dream and a deep sleep. The dream is not present in waking and deep sleep. And deep sleep is not present in waking. Deep sleep is not present in a dream and waking. So in this way, the three states are not present one in other states. But I am the witness to all these states. That means I know all these, so I am not all these. The so-called waking body, if I think that I am the waking body, if I am the waking body, I cannot know the dream and deep sleep, because the waking body is not in dream and deep sleep. And if I am the dream body, then I cannot know the waking and deep sleep, because the dream body is not present in waking and deep sleep. And if I think, if I am the causal body, then the causal body is not present in dream and waking. So I am not the causal body also. So I am the witness to all these three states: the waking, the dream, and the deep sleep. So the dream world is created by the mind only. So the dream world is false. Whatever has been created by the mind is false. And the waking is also like a dream. And waking also has been created by the mind. So the so-called waking is also false. Then I am not ignorant about my true self. That means the causal body is also false, because I have no ignorance at all. That means I am the only truth, that is pure consciousness. And this state has been called as a Turiya state. Even I know the Turiya state. So that is how the so-called the Turiya state is also false. So the Turiya state is also false. So all these four states, the waking, the dream, the deep sleep, and the Turiya are false. So the pure consciousness is only the truth. Even in Turiya, there is the action. What type of action is there? In Turiya, there is the action, there is the knowledge that I am the consciousness. In Turiya, there is the knowledge that I am the consciousness. That means mind is not completely silent. But when this understanding that I am the pure consciousness is lost, then there will be no action at all. Only the pure consciousness remains. And this state has been called as Turiyatita. In this state, there is only pure consciousness. But there is no knowledge that I am the pure consciousness. That means mind has become completely silent. So this has been called as the great silence. And this is the state of eternal happiness. By attaining this eternal happiness, we can become eternally happy. So, to attain this state, we have to definitely know that there is no happiness in sensory objects, that there is no happiness in gross body. And we have to definitely know that we are not the gross body at all. So in this way, we have to give up the gross body consciousness. And we have to know that the happiness cannot be perceived by the sensory objects. The sensory objects like the sensory organs like the eyes can perceive the form, but they cannot perceive happiness. Nose can perceive perfumes, but they cannot perceive happiness. The tongue can perceive the taste, but it cannot perceive happiness. The skin can perceive the touch, but it cannot perceive happiness. And the ears can perceive the words, but they cannot perceive the happiness. So in this way, we have to definitely know that the happiness cannot be perceived by the sensory organs. But the happiness can be perceived by the mind, by the calm mind. When the mind is calm, we experience happiness. And this happiness that we experience is by the reflection of our pure self in the calm mind. It can be reflected in the calm mind, but it cannot be reflected when the mind is not calm. So, if at all we have to attain this stage, we have to attain Turiya state by transcending non-self consciousness. So all this has to be practiced continuously. So this can be done by continuous discrimination. And by discrimination, we can have the dispassion. And later, we have to know our real nature by continuous practice, which is called sadhana. And by this sadhana, we can attain Turiya state. Then we have to transcend Turiya state also. And later we have to transcend Turiya state, and we have to attain the Turiyatita state. When we attain Turiyatita state, we get eternal happiness. And there is present the great silence. Great silence means the mind is completely silent. Even there is no knowledge that I am a pure consciousness. And that's how we can attain great silence. And by having great silence, we will be completely silent. And we can attain eternal happiness by this. So by this, I end my talk.